Hello, hi everybody.
Hi everybody, welcome to Step on Air. I'm Alice, I'm a new member of ESN.
I'm Francesco. This is my second year in ESN. I'm not wearing my t-shirt because Alice stole mine, so that is why she's pretending to be an old member, so don't trust her. So, Alice, how are you?
Well, I'm good, I can say. I'm trying to face with this rough time because, due to the coronavirus, the
Yeah, yeah.
situation at the moment isn't so nice, but I'm trying to deal with it. And you, Francesca, where are you?
I can say I'm fine, but the situation is quite difficult for me and I think for everybody. And that's
Yeah.
why we are here to discuss about mental health, which is a very important topic, especially during this period of coronavirus. And so let's start talking
Yeah,
about.
I completely agree with you because mental health, I think it's a very important topic and now it's underestimated because not so many people want to talk about it. And I think that's very important to discuss. And also the power of communication is very important. So I think that it could be nice starting to talk about our personal experience.
Yes.
And I know that you have a very nice story.
Yes, you know well because in March I went to Russia and for a trainship, and 2 days after my arrival, my roommate got a fever,
Yeah.
and so they took me in a quarantine. And first of all, I stayed in the dorm, but
Mhm.
after only 1 day, they took me to the hospital
I
during
remember
a
that
night.
I
During
remember that they closed all the door with you and all the other people inside with the military outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But the second day, they took me to the hospital to stay in an isolation room like a prisoner. So at the beginning, I was scared because I was alone in a foreign country, really far from home. And so I felt lost. And trust me, it was very, very scary. So the first things that that I did, is to keep in touch with all of the people that I trust, all the people that I love, my family, my friends, my girlfriend, because in some situation I think is very, very important to search for help because it's not easy to face this kind of things alone. And one of my friends suggested me to speak also with a psychologist. I never
Mhm.
did this before, but I admitted that a professional help could help me, and it was really, really useful. And
I think you did.
so,
I think you did a very brave choice because sometimes this the figure of the psychologist is like a taboo. So if I
yes,
go to the psychologist, I'm crazy. But I think that it's completely normal and it's something that everybody should accept because
exactly.
every mental problem isn't weakness. Everybody can need help, and sometimes maybe the help of a specialist is better than the one of a friends because they can give us tricks to deal
Exactly.
with the situation. Maybe you can tell more about
Yes,
it.
yes, because we will speak about later about these tricks. But for example, she suggested me to create a routine to to use this time to do some sports, even if this in that little room I did some sport and other stuff like that, and also when she said that when I felt so alone, to don't be afraid to call someone that who I trusted. So, but What about you, Alice? I know that you were in Slovakia during the first quarantines, right?
Yeah, because I was doing my Erasmus and I was in Slovakia. And I have to say that my situation was completely different from yours because I wasn't alone. I was in a dorm. We were 5 people in my room. And during the quarantine, we were like 20 people, 25 people in the dorm because we were just Erasmus. And by the time some people escaped, but it was yeah, but it was a good choice to get closer with lots of people. We knew each other better, and we create this like support net inside the dorm because we tried to do like cooking during our time in the dorm. We did like the international dinners all together, or cineforum, like some nights we did like games, or we watch movie all together. But this was in the second part. The first part was more difficult because we lived in a uncertain situation because we
Yeah,
didn't know.
like now in
Yeah,
Italy.
like now, it's like now. But the problem is that now I'm in Lombardia, in Pavia. It's the red zone, so I know that they are completely closed everything. In Slovakia, I was free because we could go out, like going to the park, going to a natural spot and go there, like to run or like lay in the sun. Now they are closing everything in Lombardia, so the situation is quite different. And for me, it's like I'm dealing with my first quarantine now.
And so, how do you feel now compared to the
Slovakia.
previous quarantine? Because if I thought about my quarantine in Italy, it was quite good because I escaped from prison in Russia, so I felt really, really better compared to the previous period. And so, how do you feel now, Alicia?
I don't know, because I feel like a little bit scared maybe, because I don't know what my future will be, and I live in this um, endless situation of uncertainty because I don't know what I will do. I'm waiting from my hospital to know if I can go there to work on my thesis because I'm studying medicine and I'm in my last year. So I should graduate next year, but I don't know what can I do. So I'm waiting like news every day, and they change every day. So that's another problem, that we don't have something that is clear to
Yes.
everybody. Now we know that we have to stay home and we can go out, but it's hard. Well, I read something about the pandemic fatigue.
Mhm. This is
Uh,
a new topic that is uh, is related to this unlucky situation.
do you know like a definition of this condition?
It's a sensation of fear, of anger. You can experience difficult to sleep, difficult to concentration. You can be more nervous. You can more irritating. These sensations are really, really are normal because they are due to this situation. So first of all, you are not weak if you are experiencing this kind of emotion. So this is very important to know, because sometimes someone can say, "Oh, I'm weak because I feel so lost. I feel so bad."
Yeah.
No, it's totally untrue. It's a normal response of the body to a prolonged time of stress
Mm-hmm.
because there are several months that we are
There are like
facing.
4 phases. Like we have like a first phase when we feel strong because okay, we can deal with the situation,
So
we
in
can
March,
handle it all together. Like in March, for example, remember when there were all the people there was they were trying to deal with the situation together. They start singing from the balconies, saying we can do we can deal the situation with the situation. And then the problem is that this honeymoon phase, how we can call it, finish, and another phase start, because it's like you feel exhausted, your body can't stand anymore this continuous stress and this insecurity, because we don't know what will happen, you don't know how to deal with it. And something that I think also the communication isn't so good, because every day we're
exactly.
like bombed from news and information, and they are changing every day. So I think that something that we can do is also like take a break from these hyperbolic news, as you said, because you did the same during your quarantine in Russia, was like creating a routine. I think
Yes.
that the routine is very, very important. It's like the base, the
Yes.
basement
So
of
you have to focus on create your personal quarantine, your personal routine, sorry. Because from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to sleep, you can give sense to this time that can seem to be meaningless, and it's not true, because you can use this time first of all to do some sports, because physical activity is good for body and also for mind. You can learn something that you always dream to learn. For example, cooking some dishes, to play guitar, to sing, to read a book. If you are in the house with other people, friends, family, you can discover again. You can know these people better. You can do things like watching a movie or cooking with them.
all
And
together.
so, and the last things, but not less important, is to don't be afraid to look for a professional help,
Yeah,
because sometimes if you are because it's normal to go to a doctor if you have a headache or if you have a sore throat. Why it it couldn't be normal to search for a professional help if you feel that your mind is experiencing some bad, bad time. So don't be afraid. It's perfectly normal.
yeah, I completely agree with you. But I also think that something very important that we should learn is like accept that also being sad sometimes, mostly in this period, is completely normal. Like we don't have to be happy and excited all the time because the situation is rough, I know. And we have to accept that maybe one day I can wake up and being sad, and then I just have to find the will into myself to change my condition and doing something that is good for myself and for my health and for my mental health also. That is the most important things.
Exactly. And remember that we can be perfect all day, all the moments.
Yeah.
So I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. If you have any ideas, topics that you want to talk, just write on the email of Radio ESN or on the Instagram page. We are always glad to receive your messages. And remember that even in the darkest moment, you can always turn the lights on.